Lately, I've had a lot of people reach out to me who know they want to move to the Fort Myers area, but they aren't sure if they want to purchase a single family home or a condominium. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about buying a condo versus buying a house and what to expect for both the short term and long term. Welcome back everyone. If you're new here, my name is Zach and I'm a real estate broker in Fort Myers, Florida. Now a little over a year ago, I did a video on the basics of buying a condominium. I called it Condo 101. You can click right up here to see that video. Now I'm going to dig a little deeper and compare living in a condo to living in a single family home. Now if you did watch that Condo 101 video, you'll know that a condominium isn't a type of home but rather a form of ownership. Technically, any multifamily home, whether it's a high-rise, a mid-rise, a low-rise, a townhome, can be a condo. But so can a villa or a single family home. Since I probably already overcomplicated this, let's make this video a comparison of living in a single family home versus a multifamily home, which is what most people think of when they hear the word condo. So first things first, let's talk about price appreciation and how values have changed over the past 3 years. Of course, COVID made things a little crazy, so these past 3 years might not be normal. However, long-term appreciation of real estate certainly is normal, even if it's not quite as rapid as we've seen recently. So for these comparisons, we're going to look at June 2019 and June 2022. In June 2019, the average sale price for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Southwest Florida was $237,000. In June of 2022, it was $469,000, meaning the value is appreciated by $232,000 or 98%, which is absolutely crazy. Now for comparison, the average 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom single-family home in our area, June 2019 was $282,000. In June 2022, that had risen to over $500,000, an appreciation of $218,000 or 77%, which is also insane. Now please take these numbers with a grain of salt. While they are from the MLS and they're accurate, it doesn't take into account things like the age of the community, the condition of the home, the location within Southwest Florida, and so on. There could be some fluctuations depending on the home sold each month. Now what's interesting here is that typically from an investment standpoint, single-family homes appreciate at a greater rate than condos and multifamily homes, but that hasn't been the case here in Southwest Florida over the past few years. Now I have some theories why it's different here, so please feel free to ask down below in the comments if you want to hear those. Now let's jump into the pros and cons of living in a condo versus a single family home. I'm going to start with what's probably the biggest con of living in a condo, and that's that you're going to have you're going to share a lot of things. Obviously, you share walls with your neighbors, so you might be able to hear their noise, and they might be able to hear your noise. On a somewhat related note, you also might be able to catch a whiff of your neighbor's cooking. If they smoke, you might notice that as well. Also, since there's another unit on the other side of that wall, you won't have as many windows in your home. Whereas in a single family home, you can have windows on all 4 sides of the building. You generally won't be able to smell your neighbors unless they're grilling outside, which brings me to another thing. Most condos don't allow grilling on your porch or lanai. A lot of condos will have community grills available, but if you want the convenience of your own grill, you might want to steer clear of a condo. Then you've also got shared walkways, shared hallways, swimming pools, and parking, which may or may not have a reserved spot for each home when you live in a condo. On the plus side, you're going to share the expenses of the building upkeep, such as exterior painting, roof maintenance, building insurance, and so on, but you're also going to have higher condo fees since everyone is jointly responsible for these items. When you're in a single family home, you don't have condo fees, but you're solely responsible for the exterior building maintenance, such as painting, insuring it, and of course taking care of the roof. Now just to be clear, you're going to pay for these things like the roof in either situation, but in a condo, it's part of your higher condo dues, whereas in a single family home, it could be a large one-time expense. On a related note, while you have to worry about and pay for the building maintenance and upkeep with a condo, it's, It's going to be someone else's problem. Hopefully the condo has a solid board and management in place that's going to take care of everything, so it's one less thing, or it's really quite a few things that the homeowner doesn't need to worry about. That being said, sometimes you want to be able to make a decision on things like, when you paint the building and when you have to pay for these things. When you have a single family home, that's pretty much your decision and you can budget accordingly. When you're in a condo, if the majority of owners vote to make a repair or a change or some other sort of expense, you're committed and required to pay for that item even if you personally voted against it. Similarly, a well-run condo board will have financial reserves, which is basically a savings account to pay for big-ticket items as they need to be repaired or replaced. While you may not live there in 20 years when the roof needs to be replaced, you're still paying for it through your dues. Now, whether you live in a condominium or a single-family home in Fort Myers, there's a good chance that you'll be part of an HOA. Just to clarify that, if you're living in a condo, you will be part of an HOA, whereas some single-family homes are part of an HOA and others are not. So if you absolutely do not want to be part of an HOA, you're going to need to skip the condo options and find a single-family home that's not in an HOA. And if you are in a condo, you can actually have two HOAs that you're part of. Many larger communities have a master HOA that oversees the entire community, and then each condo development or neighborhood within the master HOA also has their own HOA or condo board that oversees that specific community. So that's two sets of HOA dues, that's two sets of people that are with oversight on your home. Some folks are okay with that, others are not, but it's something to keep in mind when you're looking at options. I touched on parking briefly, but let's dig into it a little more. If you have a single-family home, you'll likely have your own driveway and garage, but in a condo, you're more likely to have a shared parking garage or parking lot. There are some condos where each unit has its own private garage to park in, but that's not as common as having a shared parking facility. If you want your own garage and driveway, you're more likely to get that in a single-family home. And then the elephant room is, well, how are you paying for all of this? If you're paying cash, that's great, you don't have too much to worry about. But if you plan on getting a mortgage, it can be a little trickier for a condo. Some things to look out for are the age of the condo, as older buildings may not qualify, especially if you're getting an FHA loan. The bank is also going to want to ensure that the condo is on solid financial ground with a good amount of reserves, as they don't want to give a loan and then find out that the building needs major repairs and there's no money to pay for them. You also want to look at any pending litigation that the HOA is involved in, as this could limit which banks are willing to lend on. There's a beautiful condominium building in Fort Myers. It's one of my absolute favorites, but they're suing the builder, and because of this, there's only one bank that will write mortgages for that building. Now, depending on the situation, you might be able to get a non-warrantable loan to purchase an older property or one that's in litigation, but you're typically going to require a larger down payment and have a higher interest rate. If you're looking at a single-family home, usually none of these items are a concern. Likewise, if you're paying cash for a condo, it's not a concern for the bank since there's no bank involved. But of course, as a homeowner, you want to know what you're getting yourself into regardless of how you're paying for things. So let's do a quick recap. You probably want to consider a single-family home if you want your own space, your own garage, your own driveway, your own pool, or your own barbecue grill. If you want to be the sole decision maker when it comes to repairing your home and how maintenance is done, definitely get a single-family home. If you don't want to be part of an HOA, a single-family home is the only option, although many are part of an HOA, so you need to do some research. On the flip side, a condo is great if you want a hands-off lifestyle where someone else takes care of the building maintenance and you're okay with things like shared amenities, higher fees, more oversight from the condo board, and shared walls. A lot of people actually like the shared walls as it makes them feel more secure knowing that the neighbors are so close, both when they're home and when they're gone. That way they know that people are always watching out for them. And I should have mentioned this earlier, but no two condos or HOAs or communities are alike. So just because one place does something a certain way, it doesn't mean the other place does it the same way. You really need to compare each option on its own merits and see how things compare to each other. I get calls all the time from people looking to move to or around Fort Myers, Cape Coral, pretty much all of Lee County. So reach out to me if you're looking to buy or sell a home in Southwest Florida or would like to know more. My contact info is just down below. If you enjoyed this video, I'm positive you're going to love this one right over here as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.